Hi, and welcome to the Heartmoor podcast. Welcome back if you're a returning viewer, and you're very welcome if you're a new viewer as well. So really nice to see you. Hi, my name is Stacey, and you can find me on Instagram as Heartmoor, and I'm on Ravelry as Stacey J Lou. I'll put that somewhere down here. I live in England, in Devon, in the southwest of the country, with my husband and my 3 children, and I'm a crafter, all sorts of crafts, but knitting is my current fave. This isn't a normal podcast. I haven't quite got enough to show you. I have been knitting and I have got a couple of bits, but not quite enough to fill up a full podcast yet. So I thought I'd do something a little bit different. And you can probably see here, this lovely pile goes right down to the ground of handmade blankets. And I sat somewhere a bit different today. We don't have like an office or a craft room or anything like that in our house. So I'm always hunting around, trying out different spots to see which one I think will work best for lighting and stuff like that. So this doesn't seem too bad. The lighting seems pretty good. I'm sat in my living room, the windows opposite me, and these are the doors to our dining room. And this here is my chair. This here is my chair that I can't move out the way because I'm blocking something in the middle of the living room floor. So I'm squished into this tiny space. But yeah, so today's video is something a little different. I'm going to start a little hashtag on Instagram called hashtag Handmade Blanket Stash. It'll be here somewhere. I'm pointing with my finger. It'll be on the screen somewhere. Handmade Blanket Stash. And today I'm going to show you through all the blankets that I've ever handmade. Now that's knitting, crochets, I've sewn a couple, some I've just edged. Yeah, and then at the end I will sort of explain how the hashtag's going to work and my idea. So yeah, I thought I'd talk you through my blankets and how they were made and a little bit about each one, because I have quite a few, and I'm sure most of us as makers have got a blanket somewhere in our room that we've made, because blankets tend to be the first thing I found when I was crocheting. A blanket was just the first thing I whipped up, because you start off with little squares or hexagons. You just start off with a shape, don't you? And a blanket is the easiest thing to make, and then you put all those shapes together and you have a lovely blanket, and it's nice and quick and easy. And the same for knitting. You knit a square, don't you? Or you knit something simple, and it's quite often the first thing you make is a blanket. So that was the same for me. I've got a whole pile here. So I'm not going to be able to show you like the whole things because I'm squished into this tiny space. So this blanket here, I'll start with this one. This is a green and grey Crochet Hexagon blanket. It's about, let me see if I can show you roughly how big it is. So it starts off, can you see the bottom? Yeah. And let's go all the way down. So, and it's about this wide. So it's relatively big. I'll just drape this over my shoulder while I talk about it. Keep me warm because it's really cold in this room today. There's a bit of a frost outside and it's really cold. So yeah, this blanket was crocheted with hexagons. Now, lots of these were made so long ago, I couldn't tell you what hook I used. I couldn't tell you what yarn I used or even the pattern. But I think most of these I just Googled, and it's a basic crochet hexagon. And I just did a really simple join. I think that's the back actually. So that's the front. Really simple crochet join. And this was a baby blanket for my youngest daughter. So I made this, how old is she now? She's just over 6. I made this about 6.5 years ago. And it's gorgeous, and I love the colours. The 3 greens together, really, really beautiful colour. 3 greens, 2 greens and a grey. And crochet hexagons are quite easy to do. Once you've mastered the granny square, a hexagon is another thing. And this is it's a really beautiful blanket. And it was like a pram blanket. So yeah, that's my first blanket. Really love that one. Next one is a knitted blanket, and I think it's the only knitted blanket in my collection because knitted blankets just take so long, and I can crochet one up quite quickly, but knitting ones take so long. So this is the only knitted blanket in my collection, and this was knit for my middle daughter, so about 8 years ago. And again, I knitted this for when she was born, and I just tried. There's a big hole. Look, there's a big hole in the middle. So this one needs fixing, doesn't it? They have these blankets in their room and they just play with them. And this was I made this in the days when I didn't really understand about joining or finishing off. So I clearly haven't joined that very well because there's a big hole in it. But anyway, let's start at the bottom and show you. This one isn't quite as big as the last one, but it's burgundy and grey and cream. And yeah, really big, quite big squares, and they are just basic knitted squares, and then I did a crochet border, and I really love the colours together. I love the grey and the cream and the burgundy. Yeah, there's not much more to say about that. Again, yes, I just crocheted them all together because that's all I knew how to do at the time. There's gaps in it where it's not been done properly. So apart from that middle hole, which will need fixing, I don't mind about the odd gap in here, there and everywhere. I mean, they're kids' blankets, they play with them. Don't want them, I would love them to have them forever. But I don't want them to become precious over them. I want them to be used, and they are used. They use them all the time in their bedroom. So, you know, that's where the memories are made, isn't it? It's handing down something that's never been touched or played with is kind of not pointless, but I want something handed down that's a bit raggedy and a bit used, and you can tell that, and I think, yeah, that's what I like. Next one. So this is I'm going to say this is handmade, but it's not really handmade. It's a bit of a cheat. It's hand edged, and I bought these beautiful fleece at a craft market. So, ooh, here we go, quite wide, and it is the softest fleece in the world. So this side is all little sheep, little brown and sheep, and this side is all hearts. And basically I just crocheted a little shell border around the edge. Nice and simple. It's fluffed up a bit over the years where it's been washed and used, but they do use these ones a lot. Really, it's so soft and so easy to do. It was just a piece of fleece, which I just cut into a square and crocheted a border around it. And I think I googled the border, just googled up crochet border, and yeah, that was really simple. And I've got, let me just dig underneath, a blue one. So the other daughter has a blue one, and it's blue sheep on this side and blue hearts on that side. And again, it's such soft fleece, and this one is crocheted in like a cream shell border. So yeah, technically not handmade, but hand edged, and so I'm going to count it because I put love into it, and that's all that counts. Next one is a rainbow blanket. Just having fun again. So this is another crochet blanket, so I'll just show it from the bottom up again if I can get it on the screen. It's not very wide. Where's the edge? Right, so starts off with like this purple, dark purple into blue, green. I'm poking around the edge, blue, so I can see what I'm doing. Green, yellow, orange, and red. And this is just a Crochet Ripple blanket. I'm trying to think what colour might show up best. Maybe the yellow, look. Can you see the ripple? Oh, there's like a shadow in front of me, and when I lean up, I don't know where this shadow is coming from. Here, sorry. So it's like a beautiful Crochet Ripple. I have a book called Crochet Ripples, and I just took it from there. So I might do another one of these little videos about all the sort of crochet knitting books I've got, because I do have a few. So it's just a basic Crochet Ripple, and I think this was using Stylecraft yarns, just acrylic, nothing fancy. But but it's really beautiful. The pattern is, you can see, it's a really easy pattern to do once you've mastered it, and you just go backwards and forwards. Yeah, and this one, no story behind this. It was just, I just wanted to crochet a rainbow blanket. So yeah, I did. And then the girls play with it in their bedroom. Next one is my only sewn blanket. I am not very good at sewing. I really struggle with my machine. Yeah, I'm terrible at sewing. So this is, you know, this is quite an achievement for me. It actually looks quite neat looking at it. Anyway, it's only tiny. So I'm not really sure what purpose it holds. Maybe a doll blanket. But so it's yeah, just a small, quite small blanket. So what I did is I had all these beautiful squares. You can see some of the patterns. Look at that top stitching. It's not very straight, but it's look at that top stitching. That's quite good. That's quite good. Yeah, there's all these different patterns. It was a pack, I think, of flat quarters, and I just sewed them together. And on the back is like a fleece. So again, it's just a solid bit of fleece. It's not been quilted or anything like that, because I don't know how to do that. So it's just literally attached at the edges. I was quite pleased with that for a knitted blanket. I would love to make a big one, but I think a big one would need to be quilted because this isn't attached in any way. I can separate, see if I can do it in the middle. Yeah, look, I can separate the back and the front, you know, so it's not joined in any way. But I don't know how to quilt on my machine, so maybe that's something I need to look into. And again, this was just a project for me, which ended up in my girls' playing pile because it wasn't really big enough to do anything with. So they play with that one. Next is one of the first blankets I think I ever crocheted. And this was for my middle daughter again. So it's about 8 years old, and this was crocheted for her in her pram. There's a slight, it's come apart, look, on the edge. So I need to fix that, but I have knotted it so it shouldn't break anymore. I've knotted it all together so I can just fudge it and stitch it. There's only a tiny one, tiny little blanket, just a crochet round and round. Yeah, so just a giant granny square basically. And it was all one ball of yarn. It was a variegated yarn. And this was what she had in her blankets, on her pram, when we went out places and things like that. So it's only tiny, but I love this one. This one's, yeah, I think it's the first one I did, and it's really special and it's really soft. I can't remember what the yarn was, but I love this one. Then I have another, so this one was a pram blanket for my youngest daughter. So again, about 6, 7 years old. I haven't made a blanket in a while. And this is like a bit like a rainbow again. I think it was using Stylecraft or Paintbox yarns. I can't remember which. And I'll just show you. Oh, I can't even see what I'm showing you. So, oh, there's a big, is that a stain? Yeah, there's a big stain right in the middle of it. Yellows, blues, purples, peaches, lilacs, red, and another blue. So yeah, there it is. Again, quite small because it's a pram blanket. And this is crochet, which is the front, which is the back, I don't think it matters, moss stitch. And it's, yeah, you can see where it's joined. So it's a really beautiful stitch. It almost looks knitted, which is why I love this fabric that this pattern creates, the moss stitch creates. And then I just did a really simple border with just some of the colours. Just a single crochet border. Double crochet border. I get really confused with my crochet because I use American and British terms and I can never remember which is which. So yeah, just a simple border on a moss stitch. Again, just an acrylic blanket, just for the kids to play with now. But this one's held up quite well. I think I was getting better at my at crocheting by then, and I knew how to sort of end things off and weave in ends. Okay, so this one here is a big blanket. I'm not going to be able to show you. It's a giant granny square crochet blanket, and it's a king size bed size. If you scroll back on my Instagram feed, which is Heartmoor, on Instagram, way down 7 or 8 years ago. Maybe you can see it fully on the bed. But I love this. It's huge. So it's king size. It's absolutely enormous. I'll see if I can find the middle. So it was a giant granny square, and I just kept going until I'd run out of yarn. So there's the middle. I'll try and show you. Oh God, so heavy. Yeah. And it's this beautiful sort of, show you up here where that shadow, weird shadow isn't, like a tweedy yarn. So it was one of those giant balls. They're like this big, giant balls, and I bought it from Hobbycraft. I think you can still get them. And yeah, so it's like a tweedy beige, like a off-white colour, and then like a tweedy purple colour. And it's giant, really giant. And it's a massive, I can't even find the end. There's the end. A massive, giant, king size bed cover. So I just put that on our bed during the day. I'm not going to be able to fold that back up now. I'm just going to have to lump that on the chair. Yeah. Yeah, I just made it for our bed because I wanted our bed to be, our bedroom to be purple. I don't think I want my bedroom to be purple anymore. So, yeah, I think it might just, it just sits in the corner of my room folded up sometimes. But I do put it on the bed occasionally when I can be bothered to make the bed. This one here is a bit of a mishmash. So I made, what did I make? Let me show you this one first, because then no, not that one. Where's it gone? The story will make sense. So I made this blanket. It was an official kit. So these colours came in a kit, and this was an official pattern. I bought it off of Wool Warehouse, and I can't remember. It was a long time ago. It was I was knitting this when I was in hospital with my youngest, so six years ago now. And it's an alpaca. It's got like bits of alpaca in. You can probably see on the grey probably the most. You can see the fluff, the halo, and it's only a small blanket. It's just a crochet. Yeah, it's just crochet granny squares with a crochet join and then a simple border around the edge. And like I say, it was some sort of kit or pattern, and I bought the yarn all together. And I have lovely memories of this because I remember I was sent into hospital to be induced. So they gave me some medicine to try and induce me for my birth, and I spent the whole day in hospital. Absolutely nothing happened, and finished this blanket. So I remember sitting in hospital knitting this one, crocheting this one. So this one's lovely. And this one sits downstairs and just sort of goes on the back of the couch. Just drapes over the back of the couch. I've also got I've got a blanket basket for downstairs, so a lot of them sitting there just looking pretty. And I had leftovers from that blanket, which I thought I'll make another blanket. So this started out with the leftovers from this yarn, and it's a crochet corner to corner. So you start sort of at the top, and you work your way. It's really hard to see the pattern in the grey. Let's find there we go, the beige. You can see it. So it's a corner to corner, and it's giant. And I used up all the yarn I had and then ran out. So the end of it has got some dodgy colours in. But anyway, so this is it here. It's just a simple, starts off with the grey, got a few stripes, and let's work our way up through, and then we come to the bottom corner where I'd run out of everything, and I just used whatever I could find. So yeah, this again, it was just a blanket to use up odds and ends, and it sits in the blanket basket and gets put on my lap when it's this is my lap blanket for when it's cold on the couch. So love this one. It keeps me really warm. Like I say, it's got like an alpaca in it. I can't remember, it's in my mouth now. I can't remember the yarn company, but yeah, really like that. And the corner to corner gives a completely different fabric. You can see all these crochet blankets I've made. The fabrics, depending on the stitch, the fabrics are so different. It's so versatile what you can create with crochet. So I'm just going to throw that back on the couch so I can use that later. This one here, it might not, so this one here won't look like much because I washed it in the washing machine and ruined it, but it has very special memories. So This one was made with quite an expensive yarn. It's another corner to corner, crochet corner to corner. So I'll just show it to you. It's coming up much better on camera than it looks in real life. Yeah, so it's not massive again, but I made this for my gran. It was a wheelchair. She wanted a wheelchair lap blanket. And so I made this and it was so soft. It isn't now. It's felted in the washing machine. And it's much harder. But I made this for my gran for her wheelchair, and then she passed away a couple of years later. So I reclaimed it, washed it, and it felted. I don't remember what the yarn is, and again, I wasn't experienced at knowing anything about wools or yarns or anything. So yeah, so you can see it's really felted. You see all the white bits. I could make an attempt to try and pick a lot of that off, but I think I'd ruin the blanket. So it's still pretty, it's still usable, it's quite firm now, but it goes on the back of my couch. And the colours are beautiful actually, aren't they? And it's a memory of my gran, so you know, it's a lovely blanket just for that reason, because she had it and now I have it. So that's that one. Then, goodness me, is it never ending? There's not, I think I've got 3 left. This one here was, I was doing when I started doing crochet, I was making so much stuff that I decided to do a few like little Christmas fairs at schools and things and sell a few bits. And this was something I made to sell at a Christmas fair and it didn't sell. And then I stopped doing fairs because, yeah, I just wanted to be at home. So I didn't do them anymore. And so I decided to keep this one. And again, it's just crochet granny square with a border, but it's just a whole mix of colours. And I love this one. It's almost like it's an Elmer blanket, isn't it? So you can see it's just got a mix of all the colours that I had lying around in my stash. Like that. And it's just giant granny squares. This one is edged slightly differently, so let me find, where's the one I did earlier? The granny square one. Oh, let me show you this one. So this one here has been sort of edged like this, so you can see, you know, I've created a different border and joined them all together. This one here has been joined sort of direct. There's no border on any of these squares. They've been joined direct to each other, which I really like. And it creates that sort of Elmer patchwork effect. You can see, and it's, you know, both sides. You can't tell which is the right and which is the wrong side. You know, it's, yeah, and I'm so much better. This blanket's so much better. The joins are so good. And yeah, and it's got this lovely border. I just did 5 rows of the colours that I had left over all the way around. Yeah, and again, it didn't sell, so I thought, right, I'll have it. It can go in my girls' bedroom and they can play with it, which they do. They have a lot of blankets in their bedroom. I need to get them a blanket basket because at the moment they're just sitting there in one of those IKEA units in one of the shelves, but they just fall out. So I think I might go and get them another blanket basket like this one. I love this one. This one was from IKEA. I only bought that recently just before Christmas. This blanket is, so I only recently got into knitting this year and started getting interested in the different types of yarns available. So indie dyers, different bases, not acrylic yarn, trying to move away from acrylic yarn. So I had a huge stash of acrylic yarn, and none of them, there were no full balls. They'd all been used partly in these sort of blanket projects. And I just wanted to use up as much of my acrylic stash as possible so that I could start afresh with things in my stash that I want and I can see and I can fit them into projects. So basically I just started with a colour and just kept going until it was all gone. And I have this giant, and it's a granny square, crochet granny square again. And I have this giant blanket. I'm not going to be able to show you the whole thing, but so it starts off with red, or it started off as like a rainbow. So red, orange, peach, yellow, greens, blues. And then I just went into whatever colours I had at the end. And it is giant. let me just try and show you from corner to corner. So we've got this corner, we go all the way across to this corner. Giant square. Yeah, absolutely giant square. And this is, the girls use this on the, this stays down in the living room, and the girls use this on the floor when we're watching a film. They cuddle up together, or if we're all sat on the couch together, it can fit over all of us. It's this sort of the length of our massive 5-seater couch. It can fit over all of us. Yeah, and it's just really lovely to have a giant blanket like this sort of in the house. And the idea is that in the summer, if they want to go in the garden, they can take it out there, and it can just, yeah, they can just play with it. It was a do whatever you want with blanket. I'm not going to be precious over it type blanket. Yeah, so that's that one. And then we have one more. Trying to find spaces to put all these blankets. So this is my last one, and it's possibly my favourite, my absolute favourite. And I can't remember the full details, but it was a kit. I bought a kit again off of Allway House, and it was I think the blanket pattern was something like On the Beach, or the beach blanket, something like that. I can't remember. At the seaside, the beach, I really can't remember, I'm sorry. And I think it was Stylecraft DK again, so it's an acrylic blanket. But basically a square was released. Was it released, or was it just a full pattern? Might be that a square was released every week, or it could have been a full pattern. I can't remember. But anyway, there's lots and lots of different squares in here, and I will try and show you them all. And they're edged in this beautiful grey. So there are, let me try and show you. There's like this lilac one with hearts on. You can see it's lilac. You can see the edge is grey. So it's like a lilac heart bobble one. It's all crocheted. So there's a crochet square with heart bobble. Then we've got this one here that's like the tide. So this was like the tide. If anyone can remember what this blanket was, or anyone has one similar, then please let me know. So you can see it's like created like this ripple effect. I love that. This one was like footprints on the beach. Where is it? Oh, trying to hold it properly. So that one was like footprints on a beach. That was lovely. This one was, I can't remember what this one was. Maybe the bark or something, or boats, or waves. You can see it's like waves, maybe waves. It's like in a dark grey. Then there was this sort of waffle pattern. Try and show that one close up. That's really beautiful. And there was like another, also, well, I say that was waffle. This is actually waffle, isn't it? So there's a grey waffle pattern. There was also, oh gosh, there's loads of them. There was this purple one that's like stars, a bit like starfish. It's like a star. And see that nice and close? It's like a star motif. Then there's this one here, which is like lines on the sand again, or oh, wheat field. This one was like a wheat field. It's like horns of wheat, and that's just done with bobbles. Then there's another square, a square one with, it has got bobbles on it. If I turn it to the side, you can just about see the bobbles. So that's got bobbles on it. And then there's this beautiful just white ribbed one. Really like that. Another sort of waffly type, like a corner to corner. This one's a corner to corner one, like a nice grey. And then there's this one at the end, which again is like slightly darker brown than the other one, and yeah, just like patterns, bobbles inside a pattern. I can't remember what they all were. And it's just the same ones. There's nothing different, I don't think. Repeated again and again and again. Sorry, just looking out the window. And it's quite big. So if I can try and show you. Oh gosh, it's huge. Try and show you from the bottom up. I can't see through to the camera. So it's like that, that big, and it just keeps going and going and going and going. I don't know how much of that you saw because I was blind. And then it's got this lovely moss stitch border. Can you see that in like a light grey? And I love this blanket. It's not been used, probably because it's one of the most beautiful crochet things I've ever made, and I I know I said I want things to be used. I know that was my point earlier on. But this one is just so beautiful, and it hasn't been used yet. Maybe when my kids are a bit older, it might come out the bottom of the basket, but it sits in the bottom of the basket at the moment. But it is so beautiful, and the colours together are absolutely gorgeous. I really, really love this blanket. It's my favourite, and you can probably tell. So yeah, that's all my blankets. So I'm going to make an attempt to fold them up and put them back in the box, and then I'm going to tell you about, let's put which ones go in here and which ones go upstairs. These ones go in here and those ones go upstairs. So that was my handmade blanket stash. There's quite a few there, and what I thought about doing is creating the hashtag, as I mentioned earlier, on Instagram, called Handmade Blanket Stash. And I will go and pop a post on Instagram in a minute about it. But what I thought what would be fun to do, and I don't know because I've never done anything like this before, so excuse me if I get it completely wrong, is I'd love everyone to show their handmade blanket stash. And I thought if everyone did a post and used the tag Handmade Blanket Stash and tagged maybe 3 other people, or as many as you like, or none at all, it's up to you. It'd be good to share it. Tag me, tag other people, and we'll see how many. I'd just love to see everyone else's blankets and see how many tags we can get, how many hashtags we can get under that name. I have checked and it hadn't been used before, so hopefully everyone that tags in it will be yeah, for this. And I'd just love to see what you've made. It doesn't have to be, so you know, handmade could be anything. It doesn't have to be knitted or crocheted. You could have sewn it, embroidered it, woven it, yeah, quilted it. You could have done anything. But if it's been handmade and it's a finished blanket, then pop a post on Instagram and tag Handmade Blanket Stash, tag me, Heartmoor, and tag some other people to join in, and let's see everybody's blanket stashes. I had an idea that maybe if we got to 500 tags, which would be amazing, then I might just do a random draw from Instagram from the hashtag and just have maybe a little prize I could send out. I don't know. I'm sort of thinking about this. Yeah, so if we got to like 500 tags, we could. I'll do a little. It's not a competition or anything. It's not like a giveaway. It's not a giveaway. It's just for fun. So just for participating, a bit like a chat thread, I suppose, on Ravelry would work. So just sort of participating in the hashtag, popping up your pictures of your blankets, or you could do an IGTV or a story showing them. I'd love it if you did a YouTube video like this and you talked about all your blankets, and maybe tagged me or let me know that you'd done it, and I could watch that. Or, you know, even down below, tell me about the blankets that you've made and the construction, or, you know, how you made them, knitted, crocheted, or whatever you did to make them. If you want to put it in the comments below, I can read that. But for Instagram, I thought, yeah, if we get 500, I keep tapping this pile of blankets, you can't see it, I'll tap this one. If we get 500 hashtags for the handmade blanket stash, then I might do a little random draw from everyone that's participated and send out a little prize. So I don't know what that'll be. I haven't even thought about that. I just thought it would be really nice. So yeah, that's the idea. So if you want to hop on over to Instagram, and I'll do a post with all the details on, and I'll put my details below as well, my Instagram handle, and yeah, so I thought I'd show you that. So I thought it was something a bit different from my normal podcast. I hope you enjoyed looking at all my blankets and hearing the stories behind them, and I can't wait to find out about all of yours. It'd be great if you could like and subscribe. I'd love that. Try and spread this to loads of people. It'd be good to see how many people join in. If we could get 500, that would be really, really cool. But yeah, I look forward to seeing all of your handmade blankets. I hope you have a good day and you're all doing well We're in lockdown still in England, and I think we're going to be here for a while, but we've got at least until the middle of February in a lockdown with the kids at home. We're homeschooling and working from home. Yay! But it's okay, it's okay. I'm taking each day at a time and doing what I can and not putting any pressure on myself to do any more than that. Yeah, and I'm sure my kids will be fine. They're not going to lose out on anything. We have a really rich life, I think, and we're doing as much learning as possible, and I think they seem quite happy. So if they're happy, I'm happy, and I think that's what I need to take from this. So I hope you're doing well. I hope you found something to keep you sane and keep you occupied, even if it's just watching me. Yeah, so I will be back soon with a regular podcast when I've done a few more bits and pieces. But otherwise, yeah, see you later. Bye.